Now, as I was saying, if you write in the coding constituents of that algorithm, 6432168421 or whatever, and whereas 8 decimal places in a 1 is equivalent to $1. If you actually, that's for instance, if you actually write into another coding parsement for an exchange in a wallet to be dexed out, whereas 8 decimal places in $1, after the algorithmic hash happens and you get what you get for the produce of it being hashed out at a hash rate using the direct drive motor constituent, you can have amplification of that same dollar repetitively over and over and over again on the same thing, just sitting there rotating over and over and over again. So that $1 is all that's being used multiple times, and it's making the rest of it equate out. And that's all you're doing. So it brings the value down to the dollar real quick, right? So what you do is you take a little bit of gold, you take 10% of the gold, and you invest it by using it as a tokenized margin to back the dollar with. So it leaves 90% of the gold unscathed, or whatever assets you're wanting to back it with. Let's say people, because people are important. That's what I think for exponential rate. And therefore, any ideas that people would have would be proposed as any basis that you could derive it from. And there's no way to allocate all the sourcing of your assets, because assets are forever expanding. No matter what we have, we're always creating new things, and it's always, technology is the thing to do. So I was thinking, why not just have the machine do it at the same dex scale that we're doing it at by hand, only with the algorithm at an exchange that makes it exponential. Therefore, it makes it possible to have more than what we started with. And if you take $1 and repetitively rotate it, and anybody that invests anything into it, it'll multiply it to a multitude of extensions. If you do that doubling times 10 algorithm for anybody, and not only that, but the microphone part that I was talking about earlier was, if you have the microphone at the top at the head up here, and then you have magnetic scale visions or your emulation or whatever, it attracts towards the magnet towards that direction. So you can constantly make the value of it increase. That's how you make the algorithm of it go on the scale tetherment tied to the actual rotation of the Bitcoin as it's turning on key turning solutions. And it can also be used for security purposes, for holding encryptic values, as you can break into anybody's device. It's a hacking tool at the same time if used improperly with the magnetos on the magnets, because it changes the reverberation to a existential opposite side of the earth.